Alright, how's it going, guys? So glad you could make it. For those of you already subscribed, welcome back to the quarry. And for those of you who are new, hello and welcome. So, as you may already know, I'm participating in ArtFight this year, and I wanted to be really productive, and I had the goal to do one a day. But for the first 2 or 3 days, the website was really slow for me, and by the time I was all better, I had already been attacked. So the first piece I'm going to do goes out to my good friend Tanny at Tawneedoodles on ArtFight and Instagram as a revenge for this absolutely beautiful piece she made on Rosa. I honestly love it so much. She got the colors right. I love the hair, all the curls she added, and it's so accurate to the design, the redesign that I did. I did change the colors a bit, and then yeah, I posted the reference on the page. I just love it so much. Like, I saw it and I was like, oh. I just can't stop looking at it. Now that I brought it up on the computer, it's just stunning. All the little details, all the white dots she added to like add some more shine. I love it. So I tried to incorporate some of that in my attack because, yeah, I wasn't going to let that go unchecked. So in return, I chose to attack her OC Yume. And seeing as this is a revenge drawing, we're going to be taking a look at some posts from PettyRevenge. So I hope you're all ready. And without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, so first up, this one is pretty recent. It says, now he's always right. Last night we took a bus to see a fireworks show. It was a good show, but we didn't get back home until after midnight because it doesn't start to get dark until 10 p.m. My kids, 8 and 10 years old, are full on puddle mode. What does that mean? When you're so tired that you just melt into a puddle of tears and exhaustion. I guess it was a bad show. I take them to get ready for bed, and I tell them to just brush their teeth and put on some jammies. They can floss in the morning. My husband comes into the bathroom and says they finished brushing and insists they need to floss right away, and it doesn't matter that I told them they didn't need to this one night. I try to explain that they are just tired and it won't hurt them to postpone flossing for 8 hours. In front of the kids, he informs me that oral hygiene is too important to skip, and that I was wrong to tell them otherwise. I suppose he's right and I'm wrong. So after I got the kids in bed with the perfectly flossed teeth, I hit all his left shoes. And now he can really feel like he's always right. That is petty. Honestly, top of the list. Now you're always right. Honestly, like, is flossing really that important? Like, I know they gave us all those presentations in freaking elementary or whatever. I don't know many people that actually floss. Like, I don't floss. That's probably why my teeth are crooked as hell. I mean, I feel like she's more petty than, you know. If he was a douche about it, then yeah, he probably was, and it's justified. Well, let's get into this next one. Be impatient to get my parking spot? Fine, you don't get it at all. A few weeks ago, I parked on the street in front of my climbing gym. Really great spot in a busy area. And when I walked to my car, before I got in, someone had stopped behind me, waiting for me to pull out. This is a fairly narrow 2-lane street. Well, narrow after you have people parked on both sides. So he was blocking traffic from one direction, since the other way was constantly has cars coming up and down and no one could pass him, which made me feel like I'm the one blocking traffic since he was waiting for me. Yeah, I get that sense too. Like, if there's someone behind me, I always feel like nervous. I'm like, are they waiting for me? Do I get out of the way? I don't want to crash. I was putting my gym bag to the side, setting my phone in the center console, getting my seatbelt on. All the little things I normally do before driving that take 10 to 15 seconds or less. When he honked, a couple short beeps, and obviously directed at me since there was no one else in front of him, I was already annoyed that he was blocking people for so long. But that just made me feel petty and vindictive. So I ended up getting out and walking down the street. Like I had just been dropping off my bag, and I was maybe walking to one of the nearby breweries or something. Locking my car as I walked away and making it beep. I grinned as I saw him drive off. I did a lap around the block and then just hopped back in my car and left. Another car pulling into the spot immediately. Yeah, parking is annoying in that area, so don't be a douche about it. I almost did that at Walmart once where I was putting the groceries in the car, but I had to head back inside. I forgot why. And I feel like there was an old man waiting for me because he thought I was getting in because obviously I had my groceries. So he was kind of just waiting there. And then after I just closed the door and walked back in the store, I feel like he got mad at me. And it sucks because he's going the same way, like towards the store. So I felt awkward, like he was like death staring at me. I just hate being like the nice guy in those situations because like you're doing nothing wrong, but they feel like you are because they're impatient. But let's hop on to what's a queue jumper? I feel like I should know what that is. It says queue jumper gets told to get lost. This happened a few years ago. I took my son, 6 years old at the time, to his first football match at Anfield. I don't care where it is. I borrowed a couple of season tickets from family. It was a preseason game. I wanted to get him a match program to commemorate his first game. So we joined the queue. A guy stands alongside the group just in front of me. None of them are talking to each other, so it was hard to know if he was with them or not. 20 minutes later, and the group in front stepped forward to be served. The guy hovers just behind them, then the group wanders off and starts asking for his program. I step forward and ask him if he thought I was a dickhead, or if everyone else queuing are dickheads too. And he seems to think it's okay to queue jump. He looks around, and the big guy who was stood behind me in queue tells him to get lost. The server tells the guy he won't serve him unless he joins the back of the queue. The guy asked me why I didn't challenge him earlier if I thought he was a queue jumper. I told him I wanted him to waste his time as well. The big guy behind me looks mean AF and tells the guy to get lost, and he will not tell him again. So he goes. The big guy says he's glad I challenged him. I would never have challenged someone like that, but I'd finally reached a part of my life where I finally could, and it felt great. So pretty much he was trying to cut in line, and the guy was like, "What you doing?" Right when he was at the front of it, just to waste his, like just to maximize the amount of time wasted. I love that. I love that kind of pettiness, not like this whole left shoe hiding stuff. Let's see. What's another interesting one? No, I won't vacate my seat halfway through my meal when I was here first. PettyRevenge in progress. I've come to a cafe near my office for lunch, and the only space they had to sit was at the end of a communal table. No problem. I sat at the very end of the table, leaving 3 other spaces. I ordered my lunch and sat there minding my own business. A couple of women arrived soon after and politely asked if they could sit at the 2 free spaces next to me. No problem. Then, when I was just starting to eat my lunch, 2 other people arrived to join them. There was only 1 other seat free left, so what did they do? Yep, they asked me to move somewhere else. The cafe is full. I'm in the middle of my meal, and I was here before any of them. I politely refused. Now they're carrying on about how selfish I'm being, taking up the entire communal table when I'm only 1 person. They're watching me eat, willing me to finish and leave. Screw them. Once I finish eating, I'm going to order a coffee, linger over it, and then order a slice of cake. Is a communal table like those, like bar seats, like in front of, like, I don't know, like those swivel chairs? That's the kind of image I'm getting. Like where it's at the front of the cafe and you kind of just sit there. But no, yeah. Like I said, I hate being in these situations where people just don't know any common decency. I would probably do the same thing if I wanted to bother them. I mean, since they're just women who came with them. She says 2 other people arrived. She didn't say if there were guys or chicks, but if there were chicks, I mean, and I was a chick, I'd probably do the same thing. But if it was some other dudes, I mean, I probably would just leave. I don't want them to throw hands in a freaking diner. All right, let's see. Oh, this one interested me. Not stopping my job to look through 50 boxes for your 1 item. Oh, it's a retail thing. I thought it was like an Amazon thing, or, you know, when FedEx loses your package and they got to look through their warehouse. I could imagine like someone's calling like, "Oh, I want my item for," you know how people are. They just want their stuff. Like they could literally just get a refund and reorder it. It'll probably get there the same way. But no, they want to recover lost stuff all the time, which used to annoy the hell out of me. But this one, apparently at Hobby Lobby. So I used to work for Hobby Lobby, and despite what you hear about Hobby Lobby being a great place to work, I mean, I heard they pay a lot. It was still a shit show of a retail store. It was freight day, which meant we as employees had to use dollies to unload a full truck trailer of boxes from the warehouse and walk them to the area of the store where they belong. I worked the fabric department, and we would often have over 40 boxes of stuff to sort and price. We were usually still unloading boxes when the store opened. An older woman came up to the counter. She said she needed fabric we usually have, but it wasn't on the shelf. I always tried to be nice, but this lady had already had an attitude and was being rude. Gotta love that. That's where I stopped being nice, seeing it was freight day and she demanded that I look through all the boxes to find the bolt of fabric because she really needed it for a project. Mind you, the truck was still half full of boxes, so even though there were already about 20 boxes of freight in the fabric department, there was no telling that the other one of bolt fabric she wanted was in those boxes. It could have been on the truck still, or not even come at all. I told her I would in a few boxes, but I have a job to do, and I don't have time to look through boxes every time someone asked. For us, we could not leave until the freight was priced and put out, which usually meant at least a 10-hour day. Jeez. She could come back later once it was all unpacked. She argued about it for a while and finally left. I was about to say, if she just stood there, I'd be like, if you have time to argue, you have time to wait, so leave me the hell alone. About an hour later or two, I got called into the office by the manager because the lady had called the store and said I was being rude, that she felt dismissed. Okay. So I sat and listened to the dumb, the customer's always right speech, and I understood and went on my merry way. Halfway through my day, I found the fabric and thought to myself, you know what? I'm taking this into my own hands. I hid the fabric, I stacked it where we put our extra bolts, so it was still within view if you looked, but not where it should be. Classic. The lady came back a few hours later and looked for her fabric. Again, she came to me angry and demanded to know why her fabric wasn't there. I explained to her that we can't really control when items don't come in. Hence the reason I didn't want to spend time looking for it when she asked earlier. We don't know what comes in, and if something's out of stock, there isn't anything we can do about it. At this point, I did my best to be overly nice and helpful since she called, knowing full well I hid the fabric. I asked if she wanted a special order and bolt, or if she wanted me to call another store and see if they had it. She just got super upset and said she would go to Joann's instead. Before I left for the day, I put the bolt where it belonged and happily left the store knowing I wouldn't have to work the next day. I worked this job for 7 years, and the last year before I quit, I literally just did not give a crap anymore. I was a good worker, so they wouldn't fire me, but man, the customers in retail really turned me into a person I didn't want to be, and I knew it was time to leave. I mean, if she just followed my advice from the last video, give it your half. Shit, this wouldn't have been a problem. But no, I get the sense of how she is. Like, she's just there to do her job efficiently and not deal with people like that who come in expecting quality service from a freaking Hobby Lobby. Are you kidding me? All right, what else we got? Critique my jukebox choice. I hope you like hearing it the rest of the night. What is this? This is a noise complaint sort of thing. All right. At a typical but small sports bar, there's only a small handful of people there. Someone is playing rap all night, not judging, but it's just not my thing. It doesn't really fit the vibe of the place. I really don't want to download this jukebox app, but after an hour, the wife and I needed a break. I play some Johnny Cash. After a couple of songs, the guy I assume is playing the rap yells, "Who's playing this crap?" I yell back that I'm playing this crap. So we go back and forth a couple of times, but end it without getting into a fight. We were planning on leaving after the song, but now I had to play a couple more. See, this is petty. I love this. The wife and I take off, but when we get into the car, I realize I can still use this jukebox app anywhere. The bar had an hour until closing. I assume the music lover is going to stay there until closing. I picked the worst country song I know, Convoy by C.W. McCall, and continued playing it on repeat for the next hour. I even spent the extra credit to prioritize my songs list. Wow, I know exactly what he's talking about. Like, where I used to work, they had the same thing. And I considered downloading it too, just so I could see if I could play my stuff. I don't know if you have to pay anything for all this stuff. I'm sure there's in-app purchases on it, but that's hilarious. I would do the exact same thing because I have thought about it. I like this one. And I think we should have time for one more. Let's see. Maybe two more, considering how short. Yeah, these are pretty short. All right. Take my laundry out and do your own load when I'm working. Say bye clothes. I work at a hotel and every morning I do a load of laundry with the mop, clothes, etc. before cleaners come in. We have to use the guest laundry since there's no service machine. One morning I come to pick up my mops when it was time and found out immediately after I had left, somebody took my load out and put their own on. I obviously this threw a wrench in mine and the cleaner's schedules, so I was pissed at the whole inconsideration. I took their clothes and threw them around the outside floor, behind the machine, in the bin, just everywhere but inside the machine. If you're going to not respect others, I'm going to show you the opposite of respect, so long as it doesn't include confrontation, LMAO. Yeah, that's well deserved. Like, I think he literally just took the clothes out during the cycle and put his own in. So yeah, screw you. That's messed up. Even though it's only like, I don't know, some places it's like $4 for the machine. Luckily, I only pay $1. Oh, this one's long. I'm not gonna have time for it. It's about quitting anyway, so this one's long too. Okay, this one's short enough, I think. I'm going to go extra slow now. I made a quick trip to the gas station this morning to grab a couple of things. It had just opened, and I was walking in. A man was walking out and towards the pumps. Another lady who was wearing a vest for the attached grocery store was now being served, so I politely took a place in line. I could see through the window that the man was waving both arms while standing at the pump, and thought, oh, I guess the pump isn't on. The lady being served quietly said something to the cashier. The cashier said, oh no, he told me it was pump 1. I'll switch over, and begins to do that. Well, this lovely soul of a man steps to the other side and starts with the arm waving again. I was getting amused by this time and said so. The cashier turns and waves back, just like him saying, I'm getting switched. He then stomps in. What did you say? She tells him, sir, you told me the wrong pump. I need to get it switched over. It takes just a minute. In the midst of her explanation, he tried to interrupt her, but she didn't allow it. Well, that steamed him more. He was muttering things and he started stomping out. He clearly said, well, now I'm just gonna go much slower. At this point, I was openly smiling at her. I must admit, He proceeded to spin around. What's your name? Reads it off her name tag. Asks for her last name. Cashier says that's all you need to know. He stomps back out with the threats to call corporate. I asked the cashier if I could have the number so I could call and tell them how well I thought she handled a jerk. She said there was no need, it was all on video. Then she found me a discount on my items. She got her revenge by going slower, and I got mine by getting a discount for being the antithesis to an a-hole. Okay, so I kind of read it back, and pretty much she said that he told him the wrong pump, so he was trying to wave his arms to get her attention and to like switch it to the one he's at. So yeah, he tries to argue with her. She's like, no, whatever. So he gets mad and goes back outside waiting for the pump to be switched. And yeah, she just pretty much goes slow as hell. And he's getting madder at it. And I thought that was hilarious. That is pretty petty. And I like that. Ooh, I like the title of this one. You want to be rude to retail and fast food workers? I'll make your experience slightly worse each time you come in. Very minor pettiness. Oh, we'll see about that. But it's the best way to stay out of trouble. At both of the jobs, I've had floral assistant in grocery store now, former fast food worker. It's very common to get customers who are rude as all get out, but aren't rude or violent enough to get reported and banned. While I was working fast food, I was often doing drinks, doing bagging, and handling the orders all in one. The place I worked had bad managers who refused to work, so I was often left to do a lot of the jobs. Big mistake, that's where you messed up first. If you were rude to me over the headset, I bet you had a little bit less fries, or your drink had a bit too much ice. You become a regular and main rude, less napkins, sandwich might be unwrapped. Nothing major enough to get in trouble, but enough for you to cause annoyance. Now I work as a floral assistant, and my rule remains the same. You're rude over a balloon order? Oops, you don't get the stuff in your balloons that makes them last for more than a day. You come in again? Your balloons get blown up smaller. Don't even get me started on the flower orders. You're mean to anyone about that, and even my manager will say that we wouldn't get the flowers you wanted, and they're sitting in the cooler at that instant. And my personal favorite is a bit of pettiness. If they leave in a huff, I'll make sure to thank them in the most sickly sweet voice I can tell them to come back soon. Yeah, come back again. I'll make your experience even more annoying the next time. That's a guarantee. See, that's nice. Really petty, but not enough to notice. It's secret pettiness, which is what I love the most. The stuff that can't get you busted. This one's quite interesting. It says, you won't return my house keys? Good luck getting your kid baptized. Okay, so I'm starting this off with, I'm sorry for any quality issues. Okay, I'm not going to read that. So some backstory. I come from a very abusive household. I tried to make things work for years with my family, but ended up going no contact a few years ago. There was never a compromise, and my physical and mental health were rock bottom, with them being the source of almost all my stress. They're racist, homophobic, narcissistic, entitled Karens of people. My sister being the worst. I was a family workhorse for car repairs, lawn maintenance, house maintenance, laundry, cooking, cleaning, you name it. I was told you do it and scolded if I had anything else to do or wanted to do. So he's pretty much their Cinderella. Jesus. They would berate me at any chance they got and continue to do now. I know this all comes from a place of deep trauma and damage, but I don't think that excuses them for their actions as full matured adults who have made their decisions in life. My sister was the golden child and of the family, so she'd get away with everything, and I had all of the responsibility and abuse. She then grew up to be a near carbon copy of our parents. I wouldn't go too far into specifics, but finally one day I've had enough and cut all communication aside from one family member who could get us in contact for an absolute emergency in which I was legally required to be involved, out of courtesy. When I caught contact, I asked for the keys to my house back from my sister, to which she refused and said, come get them yourself then. Whenever I would try, it would turn into gaslighting and screaming match, and I wouldn't get them back. I ended giving up and changing all the locks. A month ago, my sister contacts me through that family member. She had a baby and has found a newfound interest in Jesus and would like her son baptized. She has only ever gone to church on obligation, never of her own free will. Cue the prettiest, but honestly most satisfying revenge I could ever had. She asked for a baptism records from me as our mother has sent them to years earlier for safekeeping. I honestly had not seen the paper in years, so when she asked, I honestly said, I haven't seen it in years, but I can look. If you mail me my keys, I'll consider looking. This girl blew up like you could not imagine, losing her mind saying I'm holding her records hostage, and how much of an insert derogatory name I am, but at no point accepts mailing me the keys. just how I am now stopping her from her son being baptized. I just replied, that all sounds like a you problem. Contact the parish? I don't know. Who did the baptism and get a new one. The last thing she wrote to me was go F yourself. It's been a month since then. I still don't have the keys. I don't care. I found the record a week ago cleaning out old boxes and genuinely thinking of tossing it. But the smile on my face thinking of how unbelievably angry that Karen of a sister must have been, I may hold on to it for a bit longer. He just asked for keys, okay? Keys for a paper. It's like that meme I receive and you get, but she's like, nah. But that's all we have time for today. If you did like this video, go ahead and leave a like and subscribe as it does help out the channel. But until next time, bye-bye.